what do you feel about the problem is not the problem. It's the response to the problem that's the problem.
I can't even figure out what that means.
Well, so talk about, so there was the Nestle incident, there was the United Great Guitars. So the original problem was luggage, or the original problem was a particular ingredient in food. And so there's two parts. It's the response to those problems. And as our friend Brett Leary likes to say, fast and fast, right? So the internet and social media things happen very quickly, and if people don't like it, viral can go both ways. Right? Viral can be good, and viral can be not so good, like is happening to our friends next door over at the Chirp conference, which is not going well. So, so how do people respond? Like you said in your last bullet point, keep the simple, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, think of it this way. The Kevin Smith incident is sort of an interesting example. So Kevin Smith's a director. You can decide whether you think he's a good or a bad director, but Kevin Smith is a director who is very overweight. And he was thrown off a Southwest Airlines plane because of that. Now, that said, he knew the policy in advance. I mean, this is not like it was a big surprise to him. He's been a Southwest customer for a long, long time. But they handled it badly nonetheless initially. Now, the interesting thing is this went viral because he made it go viral. He took advantage of it and pushed it. Southwest actually did what they should do to respond, which was they publicly apologized to him for that. And they did it via all the channels that people are communicating. They did everything right. The reality is, he kept pushing it. Because he had a personal agenda that had nothing to really do with an apology. He wanted publicity for his new movie. Right? So, as much as I normally, look, I'm a former union organizer, so my tendency is to take labor's side, meaning the customer. The reality is, in this case, I took Southwest side because I saw what Kevin Smith was doing. Even the response to the problem can be right, and it still might not do a thing. Another example, a client of mine, actually, there's a site called Planet Feedback, and I was just taking a screenshot of Planet Feedback. That's all I was doing. I went to the site to take a screenshot, and I go to the site, and they have this section called 15 Minutes, Hall of Fame, and it's actually Hall of Shame. So you put up the primary, big complaints go there. So I happened to notice that literally like 10 seconds before, someone complained about my particular client. And I thought, uh-oh. So I called him, and I said, you got to do something about this. And I went back 10 minutes later, 10 minutes, and there were 167 responses already. Now, interestingly enough, the customer was actually wrong about this. This was one of those few instances where the customer was wrong. It didn't matter. They were already damaged. It doesn't matter whether the customer is wrong or right. The fact that once it goes viral, that's it. The imprint's there, and it hurts, regardless of right or wrong.
So taking it down to smaller businesses, and businesses now evaluate, so they have core CRM. They're heeding your advice, and they're going after the blocking and tackling of transactional data and understanding their customers as much, the standard things that we need to do to have a successful CRM implementation. And now they're looking around at support, right? So support is some people say marketing is the new support, and some people say support's the new marketing, right? It all depends on your perspective. So for a small business, as they're evaluating which channels, whether it's Twitter or Facebook, or sticking with forums. I mean, Sugar's had Sugar forums for years and highly successful. How do you help companies evaluate which channels they should go after next?
Well, there's two things, I guess. One is whatever it is you do for your business actually matters. The other one is you have to do especially, look, I'm assuming if you're a small business, you don't have much of a big budget particularly to do anything. You know what you do? You pick things that you're comfortable doing and go do them. They're not going to cost you much. And the reality is, if you fail, that's not going to cost you much either. You literally, I guess it's the best way to put it, it's organized way of playing around. You essentially go in and if blogging is something that you're comfortable doing because you love to write, create a blog if that has value to your particular kind of business. If you like playing with video, create a video, by the way, a cautionary, with production values. Create a video that actually can potentially impact your customers, because one of the things about it is, you can use a flip cam, and major enterprises using flip cameras to do videos now. I mean, it's not like, you have to compete with $3,000 cameras anymore. The idea is use a flip cam and do something. Why? Because A, you'll enjoy doing it. B, it'll show. And C, your customers will respond because they know you they see you at that level in addition to the value of the content itself. That's, of course, the other side. You have to make sure the content is significant enough that your customers are going to get something from it. So it doesn't hurt to call up your customers and start asking what they're looking for, too. So ask them about their channels, do the channels you're comfortable with, and don't sit there and worry about massive consequences for everything. Do things you actually enjoy. The cost of failure on something of the scale we're talking about, given that you're just experimenting and you're a small business, is considerably less than if you're a large enterprise.